Welcome back to another tutorial. In this tutorial we're gonna be building the UI, or exactly speaking the UI that you see right now. So this is the weapon selector that is gonna indicate which weapon it's being used right now. So these other ones should be disabled. This is obviously the bullets into the weapon. Right here we have the health and of course the money. And later on we're gonna implement a minimap system. Okay, let's build that. First, obviously we're gonna have to destroy what I built. So I'm gonna delete everything, and what we're gonna do is obviously a UI system, and the crosshair that we built earlier, which only has a knob, or you can do whatever you want. And now we're gonna add some more stuff into the UI. Okay, first of all, let's create a empty game object, and let's call it weapons holder. Inside of that, we're gonna create a UI image that is gonna be 200 by 100, and then the weapons holder is going to be 250 by 420. The reason why is 420 is because we want to leave 5 pixels in between, so we know which one is selected. And now what we're gonna do is anchor this into the left side of the screen. So to do that, obviously, you have to press Alt, and then you just press wherever you want it. Okay, for now we're gonna place it on the side. Now as you can see, we have a little bit of a gap in here. To remove that, what we're gonna do is instead of 250, we're gonna do 205. So now we have 5 pixels space between the border of the image and the border of the actual game. So now if we anchor it, it's gonna anchor right where we want it. Okay, now let's anchor the actual image. To do that, obviously, is almost the same. You just hold Alt and then you drag it up or down. So we're gonna drag it up, and we're gonna decrease the alpha, so we have a very slight background. Now inside that image, we're gonna create another image that is the same 200 by 100, and we're gonna drag and drop a sprite. So what I've done is I've designed some sprites using Photoshop, and now all you have to do is go to your image, drag and drop your weapon into there, and now you have a vector image of a M4 weapon. So all you have to do now is name your weapons. So this is going to be the primary, and then what we're going to do is duplicate that, call it secondary, and obviously the secondary will have the pistol. And now we're going to anchor this. So since this is minus 50, what we're gonna have to do is add 105 to it. So minus 105. That is going to place it exactly 5 pixels below the first one. Fast forward, and we now have a layout of our weapons. Next thing we're gonna need is some kind of a indicator that indicates how many bullets we have. So again, into the UI system, all we have to do is create a text, name it ammo, make it a little bit bigger, change the color, make sure you align it in the center, and you're gonna anchor it wherever you want. So I am going to anchor it into the corner. To see in detail where exactly the borders are set, you can go to the scene view and see where they are. So for me, what I'm gonna do is decrease the width and increase the height. And then I'm gonna anchor it one more time. And now we have the ammo indicator aligned perfectly. Next thing we want to do is have some kind of a minimap. So again, into the UI system, UI, and for now we're just gonna do a image. We're gonna decrease the alpha and maybe increase the width and height a little bit. So 120 by 120, anchor it, maybe 150, anchor it, and then decrease the width and height. So now it's set a little bit further from the borders. Next thing, you want a money indicator. So that again is the same as the ammo. So all we're gonna do is duplicate the ammo, call it money. And now for this one, I'm going to anchor it to the side and position it a little bit higher up. And the last thing we want is a health indicator. So again, I'm going to duplicate money, call it health, and I'm going to anchor it low. So usually you have 100 health, maybe some kind of plus to indicate that is actually health, and the money has a $sign. Okay, now the UI is almost done. The very next thing you're going to do is make a script called whatever you want. I've named it UI Manager. So all this script is going to do is set the values to the strings. Okay, I'm going to delete everything and redo it. Okay, this is what you start up with, a fresh C# script. And now what we're going to do is declare some public variables. So public, we're going to declare them as strings. Actually, we're going to declare them as text. Now you're going to see text doesn't work. And that's fine. So we're going to declare text, and the first thing is going to be health. Next thing is going to be ammo. And the last thing is going to be money. Okay. Next thing you want is a array of game objects. So we're going to do public game object, array of game objects, and we're going to call it weapon indicator. It's going to be an array of 4 elements. So weapon indicator is equal to new game object, and the size is going to be 4. Okay, now the text doesn't work, and you can see that you're missing a directive or assembly reference. What that means is that we're missing a import. So what we're going to do is duplicate Unity engine, and we're just going to add Unity engine.ui. That is going to take the error away, and now if we save, we should have exactly this. So all you have to do is drag and drop ammo to ammo, money to money, and health into health. We're going to do the same for the weapons folder. We're going to drag and drop weapons, making sure that we remember the sorting. So primary, secondary, melee, and grenades. Okay, now we're done with this. So back into our script, what we're going to do is declare some public methods. So first method is going to be public void, and we're going to say set health. This is going to import or take in a parameter which is going to be the type of string. So string I, open brackets, and now we're going to work in here. All we're going to do now is, since this is going to set the health, we're going to say health dot text is equal to I, and that's it. Now what we're going to do is duplicate that 2 more times, and we're going to rename the health with ammo. So set ammo is obviously going to be a string again, and the last one is going to be, of course, the money. So set money. Okay, now we're done with this. Now we have a array of game object that is never used. So the way we're going to use that is fairly similar to these ones. We're going to do another public void, and we're going to call it set weapon to display. This is obviously going to take again a parameter, but this time is going to be the type int. We're going to open the brackets, and now this is a little bit different. So since we have a array, we're going to have to loop through the array. So what we're going to do is set we're going to do a for loop, and now we have a traditional for loop. This for loop is going to the length, which it shouldn't. It should go to the weapons indicator dot length. So weapons indicator dot length. First of all, I'm going to. Now we have a slight problem that we have a int I in here, and we're importing a I, which is a duplicate. So just rename the I with a different letter, like E for example, and now we're good. So inside the for loop, we're going to ask if the I is equal to the E. If that is equal to the E, we're going to say the weapon indicator in the index of I is going to be set to true. So weapons indicator in the index of I dot set active, and that's it. Now before we set this to activate to true, first we're going to have to disable the other ones. So what we're going to do is copy this for loop, and instead of asking if the I is equal to E, we're going to say all of them, disable all of them, and then another for loop to enable a specific one. Now we're going to need to use this this for loop one more time, and that's going to be used into the start. So into the start of the game, we want to disable every single weapon indicator. So we're going to save that, and now we're going to head inside the game. So if you've done everything correctly, you should have no errors. Okay, Now we're gonna drag and drop our weapons into the array, making sure everything is filled, and we're gonna hit play. Okay, now all our weapons are set to false, which is good. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is connect this UI manager script with the weapons that we are currently using. So into the weapons holder, into any weapon that we have, we're gonna double click that and head inside. Now if you remember we're using the input manager twice, and that is going to cause a error, but we're not gonna worry about that for now. First thing we're gonna do is import the script. So the script is called UI manager. So we're gonna say in here is public UI manager, and we're gonna name it just UI. Now to actually import this, I've ripped in a line, or actually I'll delete this. Okay, to import this, what you need to say is UI is equal to game object with a capital G dot find object with a tag, and the tag is equal to the tag that we use. So I've made a specific tag, which you can do by adding a tag right here. So the tag that I'm using is UI system. So we're gonna write in here UI system dot get component, and now we want to import the UI manager. So we're just gonna copy and paste it, and now we have access to the UI manager. So a quick test. Here is the UI that has nothing imported. Now if we hit play, we should have it imported right away. So now let's actually use this. First of all, into the start, we want to initialize the health, money, and ammo. So what we're gonna say is UI.set ammo into a specific string. So the ammo is going to be set to a specific string that is magazine slash, or actually plus quotation marks, a slash, and then another plus, and the full ammo that we have. So just say ammo. Next thing we want to set is UI.set health. As if for right now we don't have the health implemented yet, so we're just going to default it to 800, actually 100. We're going to make sure that it's a string, and the last value we want to set is UI.set money to a string, which is 800, or maybe 8 million, I don't know. And we want to set the UI, so UI.set weapon to display. So if you remember, the first weapon was the M4, but the actual first weapon is the secondary weapon. So what we need to say in here is 0, since the array starts from 0. So what we're gonna do is take this UI.set ammo, and we're gonna place it wherever we fire. We're also going to place that ammo into where we reload and when we're done reloading. So we're gonna hit save, and now what should happen is the M4 should stay enabled, the other one should be disabled, and this should indicate the amount of ammo we have left. So we're gonna hit play, and it works. So we have 30 ammo and 30 in the magazine. If we start shooting, it's obviously going to go down. So if we reload, it's gonna work fine. Okay, so now we have that error that I told you about, that we're using the input manager into the weapons controller, which we shouldn't do, but we're gonna fix that later. Okay, that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.